Have we ever paused to consider what truly lies in the shadows of the oldest tales and the forgotten paths? Tonight, welcome once again, my dear listeners. This is Paul, your harbinger of the haunted. Gather round for an episode of the Stories Philippines podcast that might just have you questioning the very ground you tread upon. We cast our gaze upon the tranquil province of Batangas, where the embrace of history is as tight as the ever-present fog that rolls in from the surrounding sea. This is where one man, Angelo, or Ang, as his few close friends would call him, found that his curiosity was not just a trivial pursuit, but potentially a gateway to the unknown. Ang had spent his years nestled within the provincial confines, where the air was heavy with tales of the supernatural, an inadvertent inheritance from his forebears. His thirst for knowledge of things that lurked in the shadows had burgeoned into an obsession. Every eerie account, every whispered legend consumed his nights, leading him deeper into the abyss of the arcane. One seemingly mundane evening, beneath a moon so bright it appeared almost knowing, Ang's weary eyes closed, surrendering to the beckoning call of sleep, only to be ensnared by a dream vivid enough to leave scars upon the waking world. He envisioned himself driving down a lonely stretch of road, tucked away in the Batangas countryside, a place where legend spoke of hidden depths and tragedies masked by the stillness of the water, the very embodiment of the feared Lake Tikub. The silence of the road was as oppressive as the darkness that enveloped it, a darkness that gave way to the eerie caress of fog, thick and intent on devouring all light. From this creeping fog, a figure materialized, a woman, her presence untethered from time. She stood halting his journey, her arms flailing in desperation, a spectral damsel adrift in the night. Her eyes, wide with a terror that transcended Ang's dream state, locked onto his, and he could almost hear the silent scream that shaped her lips. But as abruptly as she appeared, she melted back into the mists, her plea unfinished, leaving Ang alone with the gaping maw of the forest's border, a perimeter that seemed to consume hope. Reality reasserted itself with an iron grip, and Ang awoke, his room a sanctuary bathed in moonbeams. The nightmare was a distant ship fading on the horizon. Yet, as he lay there, his heartbeat still erratic, the quiet was punctured by a new, tangible fear, a rhythmic clicking on the pavement outside his window. The sound of high heels in methodical procession encircled his home, a mocking reminder of the woman in the fog. The tangible reality of the sound sent shivers up his spine, a nocturnal tango that refused to be silenced by the slumbering world. Now Ang is haunted by the specter of his dreams, and the relentless echo that permeates the stillness of the night. His explorations of the otherworldly had been purely intellectual, yet there he was, the edge of his bed transformed into a precipice overlooking the abyss he had so cavalierly flirted with. Was this a mere dream, the byproduct of a mind saturated by too many ghost stories and eerie folklore? Or had Ang's devotion to the unseen realm summoned forth an entity from Lake Tikub, her plight reaching across the divide to resonate within his soul? Each time the moon shines a little too brightly, and the mists gather with unusual determination, he is reminded of the woman of the fog, her silent cry reverberating across the waters of his consciousness. Listeners, let this story, echoes in the mist, serve as a cautionary reminder that the pursuit of horror is not without consequence, and that the fabric between our world and the spectral might be more permeable than we dare to believe. Ang's story is etched in the annals of the night, a chilling record that the horrors we chase may be closer than we think, just a step, a whisper, a click away from manifesting. So I bid you all a good night, as peaceful and undisturbed as can be hoped for. Until our next foray into the whispers of the Philippines, sleep well, dear listeners, and may your dreams be free of the laments of those who were lost. Good night, and let not your curiosities lead you too far into the fog.